Today I'm going to show you the problem with Nyjah Huston's kickflip. Obviously Nyjah Huston has mastered this style of kickflip, but today I'm going to show you why this kickflip is probably not for you. So first of all, what is Nyjah Huston's kickflip? On the 9 Club, Nyjah Huston actually described in detail exactly how he does his kickflips, but specifically how he flicks his kickflips.
But for me, I feel like it has to do with the way I kickflip and my skating style. I flick into stuff with my foot pretty far off the board, and it's a really small, it's like a small quick precise kickflip. Okay. I don't want to flip into a rail and be this high above it and then setting it down.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
If you notice, I'm very precise flip onto the rail. That's one of the main reasons I've had so much success in flipping into shit in general, and being so consistent with it is because the way I kickflip, it's just very consistent. It's every time it's the same flick, where I feel a lot of people, most people flick with their board, with their foot more on the board, so there's more chance of something kind of catching wrong. Is because I started skating and kick flipping at so young and so small that my foot had to be that far off the board.
Flipping up.
So Nyjah Huston's kickflip is nearly foolproof. So for a regular skater's kickflip, you probably put your feet right behind the bolts, but you flick your kickflip over here in this corner. So you've got to figure out how to get your foot from here to here, and if you touch anything in between, it's going to mess up your flick. Whereas with Nyjah Huston, he puts his front foot all the way over to the side. So that way all he has to do is slide straight up. It's immediately going to start rotating a perfect kickflip. In theory, this sounds super great, but here's the big problem. With a regular kickflip, you put your foot right here in the center of the board. What that does is as you're riding, it keeps your weight right between the trucks so you feel stable all the way through the kickflip. Whereas with Nyjah Huston's kickflip, by sliding his foot over here, as you go to crouch down, this naturally wants to turn your board towards your heel side. So right before your kickflip, you're dealing with a little wobble. So basically with a regular kickflip, you have really good stability, and with Nyjah Huston's front foot position, you have a really good flick, but because it wants to turn you, you start losing that stability. So the question is, if the stability is so bad with Nyjah Huston's kickflip technique, why is Nyjah so good and so stable when he's doing kickflips? So after going back and studying Nyjah's kickflip some more, I noticed there are 2 things that he's doing that help counteract the instability of his front foot position. And today I'm going to put it to the test to see if my theory is actually correct. So theory number 1 is that we all know that Nyjah Huston skates super tight trucks. So what that does is that minimizes that little swerve before he crouches down to pop. So he can keep his foot right here, and as he crouches down, it's only going to shift a little bit because his trucks just really don't turn much. But obviously Nyjah's trucks still do turn, so that's not a complete explanation for how Nyjah Huston is able to stay so stable during his kickflip. So the second part of the theory has to do with Nyjah Huston's back foot position. For most skaters, they place their back foot right in the center of the tail, and sometimes certain skaters like Kate or Scylla, for example, put their back foot a little bit to the heel side. This usually gives you a much cleaner, more powerful snap, putting your foot a little bit on the heel side of center. But if you notice, Nyjah Huston, he puts his foot on the toe side of the tail. What that does is, because he's got his front foot hanging off so much over here, by putting his back foot over here, it helps to counteract that heel side turn. So when I was trying Nyjah Huston's kickflip, I was adjusting my front foot, but keeping my back foot in the center of the tail, and so it made me want to swerve. So my theory is that if today I tighten my truck and then shift this back foot over more to the toe side, I'll be able to stay completely stable all the way through Nyjah Huston's kickflip technique. So I'm gonna do 5 kickflips just adjusting my front foot into Nyjah Huston's kickflip position, and then I'm gonna do 5 kickflips adjusting both the front foot, the back foot, and tightening my truck, and then I'll let you guys decide which one looks more stable. Okay, Okay, so that's 5 kickflips without adjusting the trucks or the back foot. I mean, as I predicted, it was really, really hard to control. I felt really, really unstable, but the flick felt good every single time. So let's tighten the trucks and adjust that back foot and see if that can fix the stability issue. So unfortunate side effect, I broke my bushing trying to tighten it as much as I thought Nyjah Huston would have his. I don't know, bushing just cracked. It's been really hot lately. I'm not sure if that's the reason why it cracked, but I think we'll be good, at least for the video, but might need to get new bushings in like a new week or something. Okay, so now after making the adjustments to my truck and sliding my back foot to the toe side of the tail, it is true that it gives you more stability. However, the stability is not as good as just a regular kickflip position. Obviously, you can get used to whatever, and Nyjah Huston skated from a super young age, so it makes sense that he can kickflip in this weird position and it works for him. But this does also make it harder if you want to skate looser trucks. I think you're better off sticking to a traditional kickflip setup, keeping your weight centered in the middle of the board so you can have as much stability as possible. If you did enjoy this video, you need to check out this one. It's the first video I made about Nyjah Huston's kickflip technique. Remember to make every single day Friday, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.